Hey everyone, buying a computer is really exciting, but whether you're using it for work, gaming, or just surfing the web, it's kind of only the start of your PC journey. That's because while you can just get a laptop or desktop PC and monitor, there's a few other things that you might want to purchase to improve your experience with your new PC. Let's start out with a desk. You can just use your laptop or desktop PC on your kitchen table, of course, but you can then get in the way of other people. Plus, it's often not the most comfortable experience, especially if you're doing hours of work or gaming at a time. That's where a proper computer desk comes in. Some are fairly simple, like this one, and don't take up too much space, while others are massive and have room for various peripherals and also a floor tray where you can put your PC tower to keep it out of the way. Some also have little slide-in drawers, which can be really useful for hiding away your keyboard, mouse, and even a laptop. To be honest though, there's loads of different desks out there, and the one that you end up choosing will probably vary depending on how much space you have in your house or the corner where you can use your PC, of course. One thing I would point out though is that if you buy a separate monitor, the middle of the screen should probably be in line with your eye level or slightly below it. You never want to be looking up at the screen because this can actually cause eye and neck strain. So desks that have a large raised area for your monitors, a bit like this one, might look good, but you'll either need to put your computer chair fairly high up to compensate for this, or you have to get used to having constant cramp in your neck. I'll put some links down in the description for a few different types of computer desks which look good to me, but obviously have a shop around because everyone's PCs and houses are different, so what works for one person might not work for someone else. The second thing you might need to purchase is a chair. Yes, you might already have a bunch of these around your home, but if you plan on using your PC for hours at a time, doing ultra important things like gaming or pointless things like work, then a good quality chair is really important. Yes, you should take regular breaks, do stretches and the downward dog and blah blah blah, but the reality is that good quality chair can help you a lot here. This doesn't have to come at a massive cost though. While some influencers drop £900 on a Herman Miller chair, any chair which has good quality lumbar support for your back will probably work out fine, or you could even explore using an existing chair in your house but then buying a lumbar support cushion for it. Alternatively, if you're really into PC gaming and maybe plan on streaming, you could buy special gaming chairs. Some of these are just fancy and slightly overpriced looking chairs, but some actually have built-in lights and speakers and things like that. They won't make you a better gamer, sorry, but they can look pretty cool. Next up, if you have a laptop, you might want to look into buying a laptop stand. While you can just use your laptop flat on a table or a desk, this often results in you straining your head and body down too much to actually use the laptop effectively for long periods of time. A good laptop stand will allow you to raise your laptop up, but also then adjust its angle so that the keyboard and screen are easy to use. Some stands also contain a phone dock so you can always see your phone screen and also sometimes charge them up while you're using the laptop, and that's pretty cool. Other stands have built-in fans that help cool down your laptop, which can also be pretty useful because they can get really warm. The fourth thing to consider buying is a monitor or multiple monitors. They are necessary if you have a desktop PC, of course, but many people actually find them useful with laptops too. That's because many laptops only have a 13 or 15-inch screen, and this often restricts how many windows you can actually have open at a time. So you can often get more work done by hooking up another screen to your laptop. But many of us find that actually having 2 or more monitors is actually useful when gaming on a desktop PC too. That's because you can then have your game or work running in your main monitor, and then all your extra programs like Discord and a web browser open in the other monitor. Windows also has lots of settings that allows you to configure exactly how your different monitors or screens will work together. For example, you can have both screens show the exact same display, or you can have each act as a completely separate screen to then get more work or gaming done. There's lots of different ways of setting up your monitors, and a lot of it just comes down to personal preference, to be honest. I actually use a single 27-inch screen, but because it supports 4K resolutions, I can then have lots of different windows open if I like. Before this though, I had 2 22-inch monitors and that worked out fairly well too. You should, however, make sure that the monitor's resolution is high enough for you and what you intend to use your computer for. For example, if you have a fairly good gaming PC, you probably want to buy at least a 1440p monitor because otherwise you'd be capped at 1080p gaming, which would be a waste of your PC's hardware. There's dozens of monitor companies to choose from, so I'll put some good recommendations down in the description for these. Before moving on, I should quickly point out that many monitors still only come with a HDMI cable in the box. However, DisplayPort is often better than HDMI, especially for high-end PC gaming. So if both your computer and monitor supports it, you might want to actually purchase a separate DisplayPort cable to get the best results when gaming. The next things you might need to purchase are a keyboard, mouse, and a mat. I'll start with the keyboard first. Naturally, if you have a laptop, then you already have a keyboard built in. But for a desktop PC, you will of course need one unless you plan on relying on the on-screen keyboard. I wouldn't recommend this, it will take forever. Some keyboards are wireless, meaning that you plug a little USB receiver into your PC, and then you can just use the keyboard with no wires whatsoever. That's pretty cool, but you'll then need to change the batteries on the keyboard every so often, or charge it up if you have a rechargeable one. That's not much of an inconvenience, of course, but some people actually prefer a wired keyboard as a result because they get powered by the USB cord, which is nice and easy. Wired keyboards also usually have less input lag compared to wireless keyboards, which basically means that when you actually press a keyboard key, the PC will respond a bit quicker. To be honest though, unless you're a pro gamer who's playing really competitive FPS games every day, you won't really notice much difference here between wired and wireless keyboards. There's loads of different keyboard companies to choose from, although Logitech, Razer and Corsair are fairly good, especially for gaming. Some keyboards have built-in RGB lights or mechanical keyboards, which can be pretty sweet, but I personally prefer a simple wired Microsoft keyboard for my own purposes, and this works out fine for me. It really all depends on what you plan to do with your computer. I do more video editing than gaming, so a simple keyboard is fine for me. But if I was mainly gaming, I'd probably go with a mid-range Corsair or Razer RGB mechanical keyboard, to be honest. Next up, we have the mouse to discuss. And again, you can go for a wireless one or a wired mouse. Both can work well. I have a wired Razer mouse because I was finding that my previous wireless mouse was sometimes lagging a little bit, which was really annoying when video editing. But higher quality wireless mice can be really good and really reliable. The Logitech Lightspeed ones, for example, are well worth checking out. Other useful features include an ergonomic grip, programmable buttons which can be useful for some games and also professional workloads like video editing, and also shiny lights. I'm joking on the last one, kinda. But some people actually like having RGB lights on their mouse. There's loads of mice to choose from, and if you only want a simple one, something from Microsoft or Logitech can work out well. On the higher, pricier end of the market, Logitech and Razer offer some really good options, especially for gamers. The next thing to consider is whether to buy a mouse mat or a whole desk mat, or nothing at all. These are quite good at offering a smoother surface when using your keyboard and mouse. Back in the day, and I always feel really old saying that, it seemed like everyone had a mouse mat like this, especially ones that had one of these little bumps to actually protect your wrists from RSI, repetitive strain injury. But no one seems to use them anymore. Either people skip mats entirely and have a clean desk look, or they buy a whole desk mat, which does look pretty good to be honest. It's all sorted down to personal preference though. The eighth purchase you might need to make is an audio outputting device, also known as some of these. Some headphones. Laptops and some monitors will have inbuilt speakers, which are pretty useful, and you can rely on these, especially when you're mainly using your computer for basic work and web browsing and things like that. However, if you plan on gaming or listening to high-quality music, and there's often other people around, you probably don't want to spam everyone with your PC's audio. In that case, you have a few options. You can buy simple in-ear headphones, and these are often cheap to buy and they work well enough. I used to use these all the time in the office environments because what I used to do was just put one headphone in, meaning I could listen to music, but I could still be aware of my surroundings, because the cable's not really long enough. You can also buy wireless versions of these, which are often called earbuds, and they're pretty convenient because you get to eliminate wires. They're also quite a popular option with runners and gym goers, but naturally you can use them with your PC or laptop too. The downside of these is they will never be quite as good as some alternatives due to their small size. And that's where over-ear headphones come in. They're typically really good at blocking out the sound around you, and they often have fairly good audio quality too. There's loads of makes to choose from here, including Sony, Bose, Sennheiser, JBL, and more. I personally really like Sennheiser, but I'll put some further information and links down in the description because there's a lot of choices here and I could be talking for hours. The final way of listening to audio, though, of course, is buying separate speakers. They often deliver better quality audio than the onboard speakers on a laptop, but naturally everyone around you will be able to hear them, so they won't really work in open plan offices or on the bus or things like that. You might also need to purchase a webcam. These obviously allow other people to see you, which you'll need for things like online meetings and streaming. To be honest, while you can spend a lot of money on a webcam, unless you do it in 4K game streaming and things like that, you probably don't need a really expensive one. And that's because many programs like Zoom and Microsoft Teams actually lower the quality of your camera output quite a lot during meetings. So something like the Logitech C920 or one of its variants will probably work out just fine for you. In terms of making them work, it's really easy. You just connect them to your PC with the USB cable that's included, and then Windows should recognize it and set up with minimal hassle. The next thing to consider is your lighting. If all you're doing with your PC is basic work or web browsing, you can probably rely on an overhead light or a side lamp. I actually try and buy the brightest bulb possible where I have a PC nearby. For example, the light up there is 1100 lumens. Lighting doesn't have to stop there though. Nowadays there's lots of additional lighting options, which is often called ambient lighting. And these can include LED light strips that go all around your desk, or even around your monitor to provide some extra lighting. Some of these can automatically adapt to actually what's on your screen too, which can result in some really immersive gaming or movie watching experiences. Finally, you can buy wall-mounted panels, and they are not cheap, but they look pretty awesome. And Govee and Nanoleaf are probably the best companies to consider here. Wall panels are quite a popular option with Twitch streamers and some tech YouTubers because they provide a nice looking background effect. The final point I wanted to cover here is that unless you've ignored everything in this video and you're just using a laptop on your kitchen table, you'll probably have lots of cables everywhere. Some computer desks do have extra panels that allow you to hide these away, but often you'll need to actually cable manage them so that they don't get your feet caught in them or something like that. There's lots of different options here, to be honest. You can buy under-desk cable trays where you hide away all your cables, or you can buy cable sleeves or cable ties to group your cables together. You can even consider buying PVC trunking to run various cables through. If this is your first time cable managing though, I wouldn't go overboard and buy some really expensive cable management kit. Maybe just buy some cable ties and group your cables together a little bit. This simple step can help a lot, and you can always go out and buy some extra cable management products in your local hardware store in the future if you need to. So that covers most of the other things that you might need to consider when you buy a computer. Of course, you don't need to buy every single thing I've covered in this video. Some people spend £100 or less on these extras, whereas other people go crazy and spend tens of thousands of pounds. It's entirely up to you, and that wraps up this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please click the thumbs up button, and please subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching.